Welcome to the Regular Joe's Podcast. I'm Dave Pisani.
I'm Barry Kay.
And I'm Todd Pleasant.
Lots of stuff on this episode, everybody. We're covering two different subjects that we could each be an episode in and of itself. John Wick 4. There will be spoilers if you haven't seen it. And all the info coming out of Celebration. Those are each on its own could be a show.
And Barry wants us done in an hour, so let's see.
Well, I feel like the Star Wars Celebration news could be 3 shows. John Wick 4, I'm not sure is an entire show.
I agree. And we planned to only talk about John Wick today, but then all this stuff came out of Celebration.
It's like we weren't even thinking there was going to be a ton of information dropped at Star Wars.
Yeah, we're so not aware. But I don't know what we're doing next week, but that's fine.
That's a whole week away.
John Wick would have been too, there's a lot of stuff coming out and blah, 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 blah. So, saw that movie Air only made $15 million. I feel bad. I'm not going to see it, but I would like to see it. But
that's not the kind of movie that does killer box office.
Yeah, that's what they said. It's an R-rated. But if you've been listening to the podcast with, I've been listening to podcasts with Affleck and stuff, and they basically created a whole new company for this called Artist Equity, where there's a whole different pay system based on like even technical crew will get paid better but the movie didn't do that well, but it's not the end of it, so we'll see. But anyway, that's we'll cover that next week. But let's go random and then we'll dig into everything else. We'll try to keep random tight. I know you don't care, but we care. Because we do 35 minutes of random, and then it's like, okay, here's the rest of the show. So, Barry, you said you had one. What do you got?
Yeah, this is, and it's a blink and you miss it thing, but they officially, they've been talking about this for a little while. They officially announced Geddy Lee's autobiography.
Oh, I saw that.
Called My Effin' Life, and it comes out November 14th.
There you go.
That's all I got. I can't wait for that. I'm hoping that he does an audiobook where he reads it. That would be a lot of fun.
Oh, that would be cool. I wonder if he'll do another book tour. We can go.
If he does another book tour, we're there.
Who are we not going to see that we wanted to? Oh,
Susanna Hoffs.
Susanna Hoffs. Yeah, it's sold out. Or it happened already. Both.
It happened already, and it was sold out by the time I said to you, "Hey, we should go."
Yeah.
Apparently, she was like singing and doing the book signing thing, which would have been fun. But
too bad.
Yeah.
Todd, what do you got?
So, about 4 days ago, a Guardians 3 featurette called Once More with Feeling came out. That's kind of a sort of behind-the-scenes thing. It makes me sad for Guardians ending, even before Guardians had ended. But it's like,
I don't want to see it.
They interview all the cast and stuff, and I actually think it's filmed on the set of the holiday special. So it's actually after they had wrapped, and which was really technically their last thing they did together, but it's good, and we are a month away from that.
Less than a month.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Well, a month from now, we'll
5th.
all have seen it for sure. So,
I know. I was just starting to think the other day when they put the tickets on sale. I'm like, I haven't really been thinking about this. I guess I need to start thinking about like when I'm going to go and getting tickets. And
yeah.
I know it's going to be probably sell out, but yeah.
They put out the I think we mentioned this last week. They released the track listing for the soundtrack.
Yes, yeah.
It's not. There's some really good songs in there, but there's also some songs in there that are like not songs I would like. Usually, the last two have all been like action packed, like full on hits, and some of these I feel like aren't
they?
Quite...
I feel like the context that they put those in. There are songs that I would never even want to listen to, but the way they put them in and what's going on. Make them work. So I think
he's always made good choices.
Yeah. I think
I'm not saying that they're not good songs, and some of them I'll be honest, I don't even know that I've heard of some of these, but the rest of them, there's some great songs, but there's some less. So I don't know. Just I'm sure they'll work in the context of the movie.
I'm sure they will, because I don't know that there's any song that I absolutely love in those other movies, but they just work so well there.
Interesting. Mr. Blue Sky is a great song, but.
Yeah. I don't know who does that.
ELO. I've been an ELO fan since I was like 10 years old. So.
You've been in everything. You are to music the way Todd is to comic books.
This is true.
I love that comic book. I love that band.
I see that Springsteen's got a song on this third movie soundtrack, and I'm going to see him tomorrow night. So.
Oh, are you? In this? Were you seeing him? The Garden?
UBS Arena. The new one in Belmont. I haven't been there yet. So.
Oh, and that's not a giant place, is it?
It's like a full-on stadium size, like is probably an 18,000 seater.
Oh, it is.
Okay,
Like I thought it was a little smaller.
No, I think it's pretty big. But I'll let you know after tomorrow night.
Good for you. This is sort of it's not celebration news, but it does fit into. But I'm going to say it here anyway. So our pals at Regal Robot,
yes,
and I think we've talked about
saw that today.
Somebody's beeping at me. They have Indiana Jones licensed stuff coming out.
Yes.
So they announced it today. It all goes for sale on April 25th. It's on our Facebook page, Regular Joe's Facebook page if you want to see it. But they got some magnets, and they've got some wall decor, and they've got chairs. And so we were all wondering what they got. And the thing that I'm pretty excited about is that Urn of Nuhachi. They have come out because that has not been licensed by anybody.
Yeah, I think this is the first licensed replica of that.
Yeah, so check those guys out. Check those at fanboycomics.com. No, check them out, regalrobot.com. Check out our Facebook page. Everything's on there with all the stuff. So that's cool. Good for Tom and crew that they got that license as well. So
I was really hoping he was going to make a replica of the giant ball. Just
nice.
Give him time.
Yeah,
or the chicken skewer. Everyone wants the chicken.
Everybody wants the chicken skewer. So,
any other random?
And one quick one. If we're waiting for anyone who's waiting for Peacemaker season 2, it's coming, but it's coming sometime after July 11th, 2025.
Oh boy!
Whoa!
Yeah, which is when Superman Legacy is set to release, and James Gunn confirmed it's still a go. But it won't be released until after that Superman movie.
That's such a long time from now.
It is such really, really
anything
long time.
can happen. I mean, Ryan Johnson's still talking about his trilogy.
yes, he is. Yes, he is.
More on that later.
I guess.
Later.
But I'm just saying, like, the way things go at HBO Max, like that's like 5 lifetimes.
May not even exist.
Yeah, I know.
Freaking Warner Brothers
right.
tools. You know, it's not a tool. Fanboy Collectibles. Talking about indie, there's a ton of stuff. Gentle Giant, bunch of statues, all super reasonably priced. There's 4 or 5 of them. They look pretty cool. I got my eye on definitely one of them. So, Gentle Giant indie statues. There's Hot Toys Vader with a light up face.
Oh my god, it's the Return of the Jedi Vader, and they have a deluxe edition.
That's cool. There's a C-3PO.
There's an amazing Zatanna statue that I need all of you to buy so that I don't. So
yeah, get them out of stock before
get them out of sell it. If the sooner it sells out, the better I'm going to be.
He's been texting about this one. I think he's caving.
Yes.
But
there's Luke and Grogu Pop. There's everything. Pops and Sideshow and Hot Toys and Kotobukias and Gentle Giants and Iron Studios and everything you need. So a lot of stuff coming. And all this stuff that they probably announced out of Celebration will start showing up there. Plenty of stuff. So check those guys out, fanboycollectibles.com. Check them out at their store in Newtown, Connecticut. Tell them the Regular Joe saying we're moving right along. It's only 9 minutes in, and we've gotten through.
Wow, that's
our first 2
breakneck pace. Yes,
I wanted to mention this before the show, but I have an idea for a new segment that we did last week. Off the cuff, but we'll talk about
okay, all right. Tell me we're doing an entire segment about Kevin Costner from now on?
No. Okay, now that you ask, I think we need to, and I don't know if we do it organically or not organically, a segment called Rabbit Hole. And we just go down the rabbit hole of different people.
Wait, so you call it Rabbit Hole, not Rat Hole? Okay.
Isn't it a rabbit? It's a rabbit hole.
It's both. It's
we've always called it a rabbit hole here, and
but other podcasts they'll call it a rat hole. I listen to one podcast that is a song Rat Hole whenever they do it. So
I like Rats. We'll have the former members of Rat. We'll probably have 3 different bands named Rat.
Or we could get Chris Pratt to reprise his Mouse Rat band from Parks and Rec.
I like that too.
Do the theme song.
Anyway, more on that later. What are we doing now?
I think we're doing John Wick 4.
I thought we were going to do Okay, go ahead.
Oh,
Yes.
you want to go straight into what's in the box?
I want to see what's in the box.
Dave wants to tease us with that. So
I don't care.
The viewers,
that big of a deal.
Let's knock off John Wick, and then we'll get to
the radio
boxes.
listeners have no idea. Dave positioned this very large box
It
in
was
our
a
line of
box
sight.
larger than him.
In our line of sight,
It's
just
not
to
that
tease
big.
us.
Yeah,
It's a forced perspective thing. It looks bigger
Yes.
than it is.
yeah. It looks like it will crush you.
Yes. So we'll get to. Okay, so we spoilers. We all saw John Wick 4, right? I saw it opening weekend. You guys saw it this weekend.
Yep.
Now Todd had never seen
I have
any of the
never
John Wicks.
seen John Wick. I've seen all 4 films in the space of 2 weeks.
Because if
There
you
was
want to
a Beagle
guarantee,
issue.
if you want to guarantee that Todd won't watch something, kill a dog in the first
kill a
5
beagle,
minutes.
not even
Kill
a
a
dog.
beagle.
Kill a beagle in the first act, and it's not going to be.
It's not. This is hopefully this is the only movie where beagles are harmed.
Yeah. Darwin's sitting right here. He's very disturbed by that, but yes, hopefully it is.
Do you have to like give him earmuffs when you talk about the
No,
fact
he
that you saw
actually
the
watched
movie?
it sitting in my lap. We were both we got through it okay.
Did he recognize
What's that?
his one of his kind?
I covered his eyes.
Okay.
There you go.
So you're just getting caught up on the whole John Wick thing. Dave and I have been kind of in from the
culturally,
beginning.
I knew what it was. Okay, I will say it was really really interesting because I had kind of a perception of what it was. It doesn't deviate far from the perception, but there's a lot of it, and I kind of thought it was like 1 or 2 like really intense scenes of shooting everyone in the face, and no, it's just like a
It's
cacophony.
2 hours of
It's
that.
every
And I
scene
think-
of shooting people in the face.
Of shooting people in the face.
and episode 4 or whatever 4 is 3 hours
Yeah.
of
Of
shooting people.
It's a lot to mainline in such a short period of time.
It's-
but
I will say I have appreciated how they've broken it up with different things, and each one is a little bit different. There's something different. I guess one of my favorite things was Halle Berry's crotch biting dogs. Because nothing stops a guy from shooting you with a machine gun like a dog biting his crotch.
well,
So
they had a crotch-biting dog in the 4th movie as well.
they do well. Hey, if it works, you
Well,
stick
you
with
know
it.
what I love about it is that obviously since that poor dog in like the first 10 minutes, no dog has been harmed. Dogs are only doing harm to humans.
Yes, absolutely.
I think
there's
as long
definitely
as
dog
John Wick
karma
goes
being
on,
inflicted on people.
there
in
will
these
be no
movies.
dogs harmed in these movies.
Though I will tell you, the dog crashing into and bouncing off the car, it wouldn't have got up that easily. That was,
Okay, if we're
Neither
going
would
there,
John Wick.
a human just in 4, a human being would, besides all the bullets, a human being would have died at least 3 or 4 times.
now, can I just say, I
At
have
least.
walked up the stairs in Paris that climactic battle takes place on. Okay, I have walked up those stairs. If I fell down one flight of those stairs, I would likely never get up again.
Yeah.
He found.
I know
fell
we're
down
jumping all over the place, but
every flight of those stairs.
So I'll just go out and just say I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was a fun movie. There were 2 set pieces that blew my mind over the rest of the film. One of them was that staircase scene. I mean, unbelievable, right? I mean, he finally fights his way up. And in most movies, he would have had a little bit of a struggle getting up there, and maybe he would have had a little setback. He gets almost to the top, and they literally knock him down to the very bottom. I mean, I couldn't believe it. I thought that was...
But there was a bit of a comedy element to it because he just
there was because
did not stop falling down the stairs.
This guy can grab a gun out of anyone's holster while fighting them, yet he can't grab the freaking railing at any point while descending 250 feet. Okay.
It was a little much, and I think knowing this or having watched what this director has done, I thought they're like, let's just make it a little just ridiculous.
Yeah.
They had to because they did. It wasn't by like accident.
Well, but I mean, when you get past the first movie, it has an element of ridiculousness to it that you have to either embrace or you have to go into it with the just suspend disbelief, which you kind of have to do anyway.
You totally have to.
But I like that they leaned into the ridiculousness of it.
Oh, yeah.
Rather than go the other
I
way.
mean, you got to at some point accept that this is like an alternate reality where human beings are a lot more like video game people than actual
Yeah.
humans. They can survive a lot more impact.
Well, just the fact that they have the bulletproof cloth on their suits and they can just hold up the lapel of their
jacket. That's a new
jacket.
thing that I thought was almost a little much. They're holding it over their face, almost like Dracula.
But their hand never gets hit.
Okay, so let me ask you this. If you make an entire suit full of bulletproof material, okay, why don't you make the masks out of that too? Because he was basically headshotting everybody in the face because they had these full body, like the people are in Osaka.
I think those were more or less bulletproof, but when he was right up on top of them,
he also had to slit a lot of their throats under the mask to kill them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a little.
It was. I mean, it's funny. Pam and I went, and she's watched it, and she was just like, this is just too much for me, and I'm like, this is the best thing ever.
I will say,
Maria survived. Maria enjoyed it.
I had to go to the bathroom at some point, so I missed about 3 minutes of the movie.
That's like
Karen at best saw a third of the movie. Okay, she had her hands over her eyes almost the entire time.
But it is like video game violence.
It's cartoon violence. It doesn't really feel like it's not horrifying violence to me because it's so over the top. It's just kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, I agree. And there's I love the fact that I think they're relatively technically accurate, where as much as they're shooting a ton of people, they're always grabbing extra magazines. That's one of the biggest issues I know I have.
Like go through a couple scenes in the previous film, the museum fight, and maybe it's 2. It was number 2. In number 2, the museum fight, I stopped and rewinded a couple times. Okay, there are technical errors on the bad guys' guns. Okay. The bad guys don't reload with the frequency it need to and stuff like that. But on him, everything is exactly perfect. He doesn't fire more rounds than he could have.
Yeah.
And he, in that particular scene, everybody he takes out, he grabs their gun.
Yeah.
So they did put a lot of attention to that. There's a number of, if you go online, there's a number of scenes where like a bad guy's got one gun in his hand and he walks around something and then he's got a different gun in his hand.
Oh, really?
And stuff like that. Which is just, they don't pay much attention to that. But I will say, as someone who shoots, okay, the effective range of a 9mm is greater than 10 to 15 feet and is not only effective when you shoot someone point blank in the face twice.
But it's you want to be able to see it on film, so it's great. And I did read an article about an interview with the director, and they are obviously, as much as it's all guns, they're very much into gun safety. I think those things are special. They're not real guns. I think they're special effects guns. And he was talking about most movies do not want to take the extra expense to use these specially created guns that are basically special effects guns, and they need to. They were asking about rust.
They go to the extreme of having an actual, someone who creates custom guns, and then replicate. So there's actually an existing version of each, of his guns, but then they replicate them as a non-firing replica that's a prop gun.
Yeah.
So
that has
Terran Tactical
and all kinds of stuff.
Can make the gun that he has, and it actually will work the way he uses it, but that's never on set. It never leaves where it's made.
Yes, and that's responsible. And that gun what was it? The thing you used at the end, the what was it called?
The shotgun with the exploding rounds.
No, that's a whole nother thing.
Phosphorus
the gun
rounds?
He has, that Pit Viper.
Yeah,
that's a $7,500 gun. You can get that. And there's an airsoft version that is sold out. It's $350. A licensed airsoft version of that Pit Viper, which is pretty awesome. But that's not what's in the box.
Yeah, I love the quasi flamethrowers.
Those are real things, and they're called, I think, Dragon's Breath.
Yeah, Dragon Breath.
And that was awesome. And I love how there are 4 movies about, 4 shoot-'em-up movies, back to the days of, Die Hard, which is, a great shoot-'em-up movie. But there's something different. The looking down on that apartment building.
That was the other thing I was going to say.
That was awesome.
Was so brilliant.
That was the other set piece that I thought was amazing. That entire sequence, I've never seen anything like that before.
Because when you start going in this door, out this door, in this door, out this door, you have no idea where you are and what's going on. And that was just a perfect way to just basically show him in kind of a killing circle. It was just,
it felt a little bit like a video game, but in a good way. I don't mean that it felt animated. It just felt like there are video games where you can
see
sort
a
of
world
have that
that doesn't
perspective.
really hard to say. Yeah,
But it was I loved that. I mean,
the Dragon's Breath stuff is awesome.
Something I felt like I was seeing something that I hadn't seen before, which is rare at this point for a movie like this. That's all violence. But.
Yeah, exactly. And the Cars stuff at the Arc de Triomphe and all that's all real stuff. Those are real cars.
Oh yeah,
really there and stunt people and
every
and
American muscle
shit.
car in Paris was destroyed for this film. So.
That was fun too, just because I mean not that I'm all that wildly traveled outside of the U.S., but anytime I see a place that I know I've been and I'm like, oh yeah, that's the real place. Like they're not like filming this in a volume.
I've been everywhere that they shot in that movie, and every shot literally, but every place in Paris where they did, and they either simulated extremely well or it was in that spot.
Yeah,
and.
They traveled a lot in this
Little
movie,
disappointed
cool.
they never went down to catacombs, because that would have been an awesome scene.
Tough to film down there.
Yeah,
no, but I mean they wouldn't be able to film. They would have
they could reproduce it,
but still, it would have been awesome.
But it was like a James Bond movie in that they were all over the place, which was great. I mean, they definitely.
Oh yeah, I mean, just in the opening scene, I'm just like, why is he in the desert? But I mean, it had elements of it had
Right.
a feeling of Bond.
And I will say, the ending, how they did the end, how he resolved the ending, surprised me. And to watch 4 movies in 2 weeks that are, and I don't want to say formulaic, but there's a certain, there's a certain thing to them. For him to pull that rabbit out of his hat exactly the way he did was brilliant. And
I had no idea that was coming either.
I didn't see it coming.
No, I did not know, and they timed that perfectly. They did it, and it was fantastic. I'm not even going to spoil it. It was fantastic. Where just when you're you totally think you're in one place, they flip the board on you. It's awesome. So
do you think we will see more of these movies? Do you think that they're going to find
there's
ways
no question.
to? Yeah,
I think so.
He's not
They were talking about possibly a 5 even before it came out. I mean, obviously the end is the end, but that means
there was I didn't stay for it because I didn't realize there was a very quick post-credit scene.
Yeah, I don't know that really tied into the next movie. I don't think it
necessarily would tie into the next movie either, because I'm not sure that those characters could carry their own movie.
And who was it?
It was the daughter, the guy that owned the hotel in Osaka.
See, that's
his
what I was
daughter.
going to ask. Is we never saw anything that.
It was her going after
the
Chirrut Imwe. I can't remember his name from this movie, but he was Chirrut in Star Wars.
Yes, he was. Yeah.
Donnie Yen's character.
Donnie Yen and his daughter.
Yeah.
Or really Donnie Yen, I guess. So
yeah.
So she was stalking him.
She pulled out a knife and she went at him.
It looked like she was trying to kill him.
Yeah. I was surprised we didn't see her again. I mean, they really kind of set it up like we were going to.
Well, we did. If you just had to literally stay through all the credits, not even just the initial credits. Okay. They really stuck it at the end.
Well, and I texted you guys, but I don't think you saw my text.
I actually looked that up, Barry, in the theater, and no one responded to it. So.
I saw that you were home by the time I saw that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So.
That's fine. I don't feel like I missed that much, quite honestly.
You could see it all.
When I read what it was, I'm like, okay, whatever.
Yeah. But I mean, it's it's not everyone's cup of tea, but I just think it's so much fun. It's like I always love the shoot 'em up movies, and this takes it to such an extreme. And I give Keanu, he's 58. And now it's funny, he was on a podcast I listened to yesterday, and they're like, "Oh, you do all your own stunts?" He's like, "No, I do not do all my own stunts. I do my own action.
Yeah.
Stuntmen do the stunts." So he's like, when I am fighting or shooting or any of that, that's me. When someone's falling off a building, that's the stuntman. He was very clear about that. But he learns all that fighting stuff, and there's a ton of it. Can you imagine the grueling schedule? And
but he's been doing that kind of choreography since The Matrix, so I'm sure it's easier for him just because he's been doing it for so long. But still, it's amazing. The wear and tear on he's in every scene. He's fighting 200 minutes or however long this movie is. I mean, it's no joke. It's not 200 minutes.
Boy, this
2 hours and
scene
40
with
minutes.
The big German guy. You know that?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that was just like the Kingpin guy.
You don't usually see a guy that big be able to move that well.
Again, it's the Kingpin thing. It's just he's got so much bulk. Once he gets him moving, you can't stop him. And that was amazing. And dropping the guy on his neck was just
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, some of the stuff was ridiculous. He fell out of the window and he literally
landed
broke
on
his
a car.
back on
Yeah, he
something,
should've-
and he still kept going.
But that and just how many times he got hit by cars around the Arc de Triomphe. I mean, he would have easily... There's no way anybody would have survived all that, but he's John Wick.
In the first 3 movies, he was hit by a car, I think, 12 times. And the person writing the article that I read said that, just in terms of internal injuries, he would have died after the third one.
I wonder if the Kevlar protects him. Now, I liked when he took off his jacket, he's shaking out all the
bullets are
slugs.
falling out of it.
That was actually good. I like that.
Which is great.
Yeah.
Because there was this, like, the Hacksmith, and I don't know if it was the Hacksmith, but it's one of these big channels on YouTube, they did all this testing to build the John Wick suit out of Kevlar. And Kevlar, the whole idea of Kevlar vests is like, it's not just a piece of material, it's multiple layers, and they really tried to make it as thin as possible. Now the suit obviously is not just it's a little bulky, but it did survive all those rounds, so it's in theory it's possible, but it's not as fluid a piece of fabric
or as stylish, I'm sure.
Yeah, but I just love those movies. I'm sorry, I know they're shallow.
Highly recommend. They're fun. They're just fun.
Unbelievable, but that's fine. There's so much fun.
It'd be
part of the
interesting
charm.
to see what they do with the spin-off.
So the Ballerina is a movie that comes out, I think, next year, and then there's a series, The Continental, that goes back in time. I guess from when what's his name?
Winston.
Winston is young. So those will be interesting to see what goes on. But the whole world of assassin, like, everyone's an assassin. It seems like everyone on the planet's an assassin.
Oh, once and it was wild that they were running that out of the Eiffel Tower. And then as soon as they put the bounty out on him, it was just like everybody's phone lit up.
That was totally, I'm sure, intentional. The Warriors ripoff, where, if you guys remember the Warriors, they were announced on the radio about the Warriors, where they are. They're making their way to Coney Island from wherever they were, and giving announcements on where they were.
Yeah.
That's totally, I'm assuming, a homage to the Warriors.
I haven't seen the Warriors in decades.
Oh, well, it's definitely the radio. The woman talking on the radio of like, oh, they're here.
Yeah.
This is where they are.
Interesting. Oh. I mean, it was basically something they did in the first film, but they did it with like phone updates in the first film. So that's, yeah.
Well, sounds like 3 thumbs up on John Wick 4 and the series in general.
Oh, yeah.
3 thumbs up and 1 half finger. Yeah.
I like 1. 2, I think, is my least favorite of all of them. I think that's the one I've seen the least, but 4 is a lot of fun. A lot of fun as much as you like shooting.
I like 3. Like I said, I really like Halle
like the
Berry's
dogs.
character.
The dogs
I thought
are great.
That was interesting. I thought that whole element was different, and at a point when we needed something different.
Yeah. So there you go. Check it out. Go see John Wick. Let us know what you thought. Okay. We're doing What's in the Box now?
Sure.
Is that what you want to do?
Yeah.
Sure.
Show you with the box. Who's in the box? Oh, what's in the box? What's in the box?
Regular Joe's What's in the Box.
You guys go first.
I'll go.
Or I can go first. Whatever you want to do.
I can go. I'm quick.
Okay.
So this I'm going to hold up. This is a vintage Luke Skywalker Return of the Jedi Luke Jedi Knight figure. This I've had in my collection forever. Long time. This is a relatively new version. You mentioned Regal Robot and our friend Tom Spina. I was hanging out with him a couple weeks ago, and I was looking at his collection, and I noticed he had something I didn't, which I had to fix immediately. This is the same figure, but there's a snap on the cape instead of it being sewn shut, so it's a variation of the figure. So I needed this.
So it's a vintage figure.
It's a vintage figure.
It's
It's essentially the same figure. The only difference is that they made a version where the cape had a snap on it instead of it being sewn shut. So I had to...
Is his lightsaber a different color?
Well, I had that already. There is a variation on the lightsabers. There's a green one and a blue one. Not necessarily that one went with the snap and one went with the regular, but I already had
Barry, how
two
you
of these.
slept the night that you found out that existed, I can't even imagine.
I didn't. I bought it immediately upon returning home from Tom's house, and knew it was on its way. That's how I slept.
Okay.
Where did you find it, on eBay? Or?
Yeah, I ended up buying it on eBay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's common enough of a variation that it's out there. It still makes it, triple the price of a regular one, but when you just have to have something, eBay's there. So that's what's in the box for me. Todd, I guess we'll let Dave go last, so I'll go
Okay,
Todd.
yes. So a couple weeks ago, I showed this Bo-Katan figure that I bought, which is very cool. Hot Toys.
Hot Toys, yep.
And so I've had it on my desk since then. And the other day I looked over and I noticed like something was missing. And damn if part of it didn't fall off. The pauldron's missing right off her shoulder there. So I had to replace that. So I got this.
Oh.
I don't know if you can see that.
It's the
So I bought
Beskar
this
version.
I bought this.
Wait, you were missing it or you lost
I'm
it?
kidding.
Oh.
So I went on eBay. I was on eBay looking at something else, and they have a replacement pauldron that looks like the one she's currently got now. And
Someone's already making it and selling it?
already making
yeah.
it and selling it.
Yeah.
And it's not showing up good in this light, but it's perfect. I sent
Is
Barry
it
a
metal?
picture the other day. No, it's plastic, but it's
Oh.
it's perfectly
Metal
shiny and
vacuumized
Beskar
or whatever?
and
It's got the little micro Velcro on the inside,
got
so it
micro
snaps
Velcro
right
so you
on.
can swap
Jesus,
right on there.
right. It was only on TV like 2
I'm
weeks
telling
ago.
you, it was like a week later that I ordered it, and yep.
It looks
So-
great.
And the
That's
Mythosaur
cool.
is on there, and so yep. So if they change her armor again, I'll just go online and get her caught up.
Oh, I'm waiting for them to announce the new. I mean, they're going to do a second version of her with whatever happens between now and the end of the season.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it even came in a little box. So, but yeah. So
Wow, that's pretty cool.
That's my what's in the box. So
There you go.
All right, so Dave started teasing us a week ago.
Was it a week ago? So what was I looking? I was looking at, re-looking at the last auction on Prop Store, and I'm like, let me just go through everything. Is there anything I think I really want to bid on? And I came to the conclusion that I did not. Oh, no, I wasn't that. I was looking at all the second chance offers, because you could, as long as you sort of offer 80% of the opening bid, you could theoretically get. And then I'm like, there's nothing. So then I started going down a rabbit hole of what's on the Buy It Now stuff, because I always check that. There's a ton of stuff on Buy It Now.
It's funny you say that, because I actually, the other day, I kind of went down that rabbit hole and I went through. It's a little hard to look at, because if you look by franchise, you got to keep picking the franchise names, but I did a similar thing the other day.
I just literally just went for about 40 minutes and just scrolled through its
I did the
do it
same
that
thing.
way.
own thing. And then there's also still the contest going on for the Stuff Dreams Are Made of podcast, where you can get 10% off. So you say code Ryan10 or code Dave10 and get 10% off. I did that when I bought my Empire Strikes Back little patch. So as you can see the box, I guess we'll put pictures of this up. There you see the box. If you notice, it's very similar in size to the chicken skewer box. And we all know there were 2 chicken skewers. I didn't know.
I was going to say, don't even tell me.
No, you guys aren't going to be this size. So I always wanted something from this movie, and I almost pulled the trigger. They have a couple items. I almost pulled the trigger on another item, but this came up, and it's new. This is a samurai katana from The Last Samurai.
I saw that.
One of my I
So
love
it wasn't
that movie.
it wasn't his. It was one of the.
It's
one
not
of the
his. It's
background
from
characters.
Katsumoto's army.
Yep.
And there's 2 versions of there on there. There's multiples of these. So there is a resin version, all resin with a what am I call it?
Sheath?
Scarab. They call it I don't know what they call it.
Scabbard. Yeah.
Scabbard. And then there is this version that's aluminum with a resin handle. So this is
You've
like
been
the
talking about
background.
wanting something from that movie for a while, so I'm not surprised that's
That
I
was
have. I
near-
almost bought arrows.
Near Tom Cruise.
Yes.
I was Tom Cruise adjacent.
Yes.
Tom Cruise. It is Tom Cruise adjacent, but I know that's why it's not as exciting for you guys because I know you don't care about that movie. But I do love that movie. If you haven't seen it, you should see it. But
Dances with Wolves with Samurai.
But way better. And I was gonna get the resin one, and then this is like really heavy. This is like, it's not sharp, but it's really well made.
It feels legit. It's got like real weight to it. Yeah,
absolutely. It's
nice.
It's not like when I heard aluminum, I'm thinking like almost that aluminum you buy at Home Depot. But this is like full on a blade. Like I have that Highlander blade that I bought for like $30, and it's got the same kind of blade as this. So I was very excited about this. It wasn't super expensive, but I mean, if you're getting something from The Last Samurai, why not have a samurai?
It has to be a samurai.
It's gotta be a samurai,
Yeah.
sir.
I'm glad I didn't buy those arrows. Those arrows are only like $45. So there's more of these. If anyone appreciates the Tom Cruise epic, there's more of these on there because they made a bunch of them. So I've built the mount. It's going to go right here over this door.
Oh, that's a good spot
that
for
is
it.
the place for it, right? You're saying over the
I
double
have
closet
no
door?
other room. So yeah, I built one out of on the laser cutter to acrylic thing to hold it, but
nice.
And it's got all these fingerprints on it. So I'm wondering if any of these were people or if I should clean the fingerprints off.
Oh, you know that those are Tom Cruise fingerprints, Dave.
He was probably touching everything. And that dude who was in John Wick 4, wrote his name, Hiroyuki. It was like the sort. Have you guys seen the movie recently or ever?
Maybe ever.
It's been a long time ago.
I watch it every couple years. It's actually really good. Check it out. You should watch it if you haven't seen it.
All right, listening audience, that's homework.
Okay.
Watch
Yeah,
The
I was
Last
really
Samurai.
talking to you.
No, I know you were, but I'm extending it to
We're just sharing
the
the
audience.
wealth.
Yeah.
So a samurai from The Last Samurai. Very
Sweet.
excited
Congrats.
to have that. And and it's a couple other things, but you get something like, it wasn't as great as I thought it would be. So I haven't really gotten that, but this was better than I thought it was going to be. So happy about that. And so it's funny. It's in this box, and this box is like 40 by 10 by 10.
You could
Filled
have
with
put a
peanuts.
dozen of those in there.
Yeah. The good thing about Prop Store is they do a great job packing stuff. So it was wrapped up in that foam paper, then bubble wrap, then stuffed in a bunch of peanuts. So I opened it. I felt around. I felt the sword. I pulled it out. And then I'm like, okay, I guess I'll toss the rest of it this way. And then I'm like, oh, wait a second. They always put the certificate
COA,
of authenticity in there. Let me find that. That was sort of at the time I pulled that out. Then I'm like, I wonder if there's anything else in there. And like, there's not. I start digging around and I come up with 3 other things.
Seriously?
So I got this letter in this whole freaking cardboard envelope and in a plastic sheet from Tom Cruise. No. This is from Chuck Costas. Barry, you know who Chuck is?
Chuck Costas.
He's always the guy they bring on the Props podcast.
Oh, right.
He talks about, dear customer, thank you for your buy it now purchase from Propstar. They say thank you for being one of the first people to use this special "The Stuff Dreams Are Made Of" promo code for season 5 of the podcast. Please enjoy a complimentary Propstar hat.
Wow.
And mug.
Interesting.
Please wear and use proudly. Chuck Costas, VP Business Development and Marketing. So there you go.
See that? You got more than you bargained for.
I got more than I bargained for. And I will put this on Instagram. I don't want to get yelled at by Dave, but I did use the Ryan 10 code.
Of course you did, because nobody ever uses a Dave code.
I know.
Dave's an interesting character.
I would love those guys to come on the show. They did like our last Instagram post where I referenced them with the clapperboards. So
I haven't listened to their latest episode yet because it's 2 hours. I mean, it's our buddy Tom's on there, but it's 2 hours and I haven't had a chance to listen to it yet.
I listened to about the first 40 minutes.
Yeah. I'll make my way through it at some point, but
yeah. But anyway, sorry for an extended. That's what's in the box. So I'm happily proud to own that.
Sweet.
Okay.
All right. Star Wars
Info
Celebration.
from Celebration
Cue it up there.
2013. 3.
So I'm thinking let's do Indy first, just because it's Indy and there's a lot to talk about, but not as much as there is Star Wars. So, as much as it's Star Wars Celebration, it's Lucasfilm, and they did, use the opportunity to talk about Indy. They released a new trailer, which I guess is the full trailer, no longer a teaser trailer. So why don't we just talk about that for a minute? I mean, that trailer was freaking awesome.
There's a lot going on in that trailer. The one thing that sort of gets me is I really rather see Indy in the 30s than Indy in the 60s, but it is what it is.
You really have to be paying attention in that trailer to notice all of the de-aging that's going on and try to figure out how far back we're going, because some of it looks like it's in the 30s and 40s for sure. Yeah.
Do we think that dial is... These are not flashbacks?
I think it's got to be time travel.
Dial him back to
I think
a different time?
As I said before, I think you can undo it, and I think that's what's happening. I think it's like a Groundhog Day kind of thing more than a time travel kind of thing. Like they're trying to reset time and it's being thwarted. So he keeps popping up back in his previous self or something like that.
Well, that is time travel though.
It is, but I'm saying yeah.
It felt like time travel.
Not in the get in a ship and you go back in time kind of sense.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a scene
more
in
of a
there.
quantum leap sort of thing is what I think is happening.
There's a scene in there where if I'm not crazy, it looks like he's where the giant rolly ball thing is again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, but he's with his goddaughter this time.
I think it's more like a quantum leap kind of thing where he's getting, he's getting sent back and they're getting sent back kind of thing. We'll see.
I think it looked great. I mean, there's
a
lot going on.
It definitely feels like they're going out of their way to show you how indie it is. Crystal Skull aside, like this really does look like it's their way of putting the icing on the series, and it just feels like it's all out indie. So
even the fact that they address with her, where she says, like, come on, one last adventure kind of thing. It just, it's.
Well, and he starts talking about I've been shot 9 times. I've been tortured with voodoo. Like he's going down the list of things that I told my son I was waiting for him to say I was blown up in a nuclear explosion in a refrigerator.
He's never going to acknowledge that.
No, but it just looks awesome.
It does.
The whole thing makes. I mean, obviously. The bad guy is looking for this dial to help reset the Nazis.
Yep.
And then obviously we're saying feel there's time travel based on this thing. It makes me feel better about the title because I didn't love the title, but now it's like it seems to have a little more weight now that we really know what it's all about.
Yeah, and they show the dial in. I mean, what we're assuming is the dial in the trailer, and it has that sort of antique quality, something like it just looks like a better MacGuffin than anything we've seen.
Is it available on the RPF yet, you think? Is somebody putting it up?
Somebody will have it ready by the weekend.
I hope so. I wonder if Tom's making it.
He might, who knows. So in addition to the trailer coming out, they released the poster, or at least a poster. I don't know if it's the poster, but the artwork looks cool. And then there's, as we were saying during the fanboy spot, there was a ton of merchandise, like mini busts and statues. Gentle Giant's doing a jumbo figure of the vintage original figure, like they've done with Star Wars.
Oh, yeah.
Geeky Tiki's doing a whole series of tiki mugs. Funko's got a whole series of Funko Pops coming out. I mean, they've all the pictures of all this stuff have come out. A lot of it's up for pre-order. So we're being inundated with indie merch, and I wonder if it's just going to be a quick, burst and then it just all goes away, or if indie is going to be the new Star Wars now where it's everywhere. I mean, there's Lego sets out now.
Indie seems like a quick burst kind of thing.
I think so too.
Which is fine. I mean, I haven't really... I've seen the figures. I haven't seen the...
There was a lot of Jurassic Park merch last year too.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I'm going to text you guys a couple quick picks just because I grabbed them.
Yeah, there's a lot of Hasbro figures in what, 3 3/4 and 6-inch.
Yeah, there's a ton of the Black Series, or I don't know if they're calling them Black Series for this, but the 6-inch Marvel Legends style figures. They've got a short round coming out in that series.
Oh, I saw that. I did see that. I wonder if they added that just since he won all the Academy Award and stuff.
I don't think so. I mean, they would have had to whip that up pretty quick, but if you're an indie,
Oh, the Idol Tiki mug is great. Is that a Tiki
damn,
mug?
that's
I
a
need
Tiki
that.
mug.
That
I
I need.
need that.
That's
I
awesome.
like the mine car one is kind of cool too.
It's kind of cool, but it's a little more of a deep cut. The Fertility Idol is perfect.
And then the scenic ones are actually kind of cool too, like because they
there's-
wrap around.
I totally need that. Idol's gonna be tough to get.
I think this
Those
stuff's
are for-
all up for pre-order now.
Is it? I
Yeah.
gotta order that.
So, I really don't do Funko Pops except for movie directors and musicians, but like some of these are cute.
I need one indie pop.
Let's see. I haven't seen those. Oh, they have little scenes. I need a solid pop so we can autograph it bigger than the box.
Yeah, you'll have to wrap it all the way around. But yeah, I mean they look fun. Oh, the Marvel Legends style figures. They're
Dave,
doing like a
you need
build a
the
thing.
tuxedo, Indian tuxedo and dinner jacket pop,
But he doesn't have the.
but you'll pose him right next to it. It's-
No,
put 'em
but
next
I
to the
ordered.
chicken skewer.
They have a black series that comes
Yes,
with the
comes
chicken
with the
skewer.
chicken
Oh, I
skewer.
know that, but this is
Target
yeah.
exclusive. I ordered 2 of them.
So anyway, lots of indie stuff. I don't think Harrison was there though. They did a panel. I don't think he was there. So because he's probably busy filming that Marvel movie he's working on now.
Yep.
All right, so Star Wars, tons of stuff.
Tons of stuff.
I said to the guys, I spent half a day Friday, all day Saturday, and part of the day yesterday, Sunday, watching 21 hours of live streams from Celebration. And I didn't watch anything from today, so I watched pretty much everything that they did. I skipped through some of it, but watched most of it. More on that later. But
Can I make a suggestion?
Yes.
Movies, TV, animated.
Yep.
Okay.
So movies, they announced 3 new movies coming out. They also announced that Return of the Jedi is coming back to theaters.
That's
April 28th.
interesting. That's the end of this month.
April 28th, and they put out
haven't
an
done that,
awesome
though. They
new
didn't do that-
poster.
Did they do it with Empire?
No, they didn't do it for Empire or A New Hope. I'm not quite sure. I mean, I guess it's just there's a lot of stunt movie things that they're doing in general now. Like lots of studios are doing it, so I guess
We
it's
should
just
all either go see that or Guardians together.
we should talk about one of those two. So that's coming back to theaters. There's a really cool new poster that they released for that. I'm hoping that they might actually sell that poster because that was a really cool poster. All right, so 3 movies they announced. First one, James Mangold is who's directed the indie movie. I guess they must have been happy with him. He's doing a movie that's going back to the dawn of the Jedi. So all the way back to the very beginning of the Jedi.
25,000 years before the Battle of Yavin.
They're saying
Yes.
the discovery of the Force, the
Yes,
first understanding of the Force.
first Jedis, yeah.
Yeah, I read an interview with him today, and that's basically what he said. He's going back to like the beginning, how the Force came about.
Right. No timing on when any of that will come out, but that apparently is what he's working on.
It's so funny, just like here are these, and we'll get to the other ones. There's 3 directors doing these 3 movies, and everyone and their mother was doing a movie, and
But you know what? I
none of these
believe all
people
3
were
of
talked
these
about.
will happen.
Huh?
No, I believe 2 of 3 of these will happen.
I think they'll all happen.
I think they're all
I'm
going
saying
to happen.
one of them could change, but I'm telling you, I believe that 2 of these will happen.
I feel like these are the ones that everything else was either misdirection or
Right. Well, and we'll talk about the other 2 movies in a second. But
Working
what I
through it.
texted you guys over the weekend, and what actually made me feel good about this announcement was, rather than just saying we're making a trilogy and it's going to be about blank,
Right. I
they're
agree.
saying we're doing 3 things, and if any of them resonate, then we'll continue them, and if they don't, we'll just drop them. And
they're doing the 3 very distinct, fairly distinct time periods, which is great.
they're all set in
This
different
is,
time
I
periods.
feel like this is smart.
Oh,
I'm
this
sure
is really
everybody's
smart. The
not agreeing with
Can
that.
we
but
move on to the
whatever.
next one, Barry?
Yeah. So the
Okay.
next one is do you want to?
Filoni?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they're talking about basically closing out the TV shows. So being in the
That's
same
not
era.
exactly what he said. Because I read an article where they interviewed him, and he said a lot of the TV shows that are in the post Return of the Jedi time frame,
Yep.
which is Boba Fett, Mandalorian, Ahsoka,
And Ahsoka.
Is Skeleton Crew going to be in there too?
I don't think that. Well, I think that is in the same time period, but I'm not sure if that's going to cross over.
He says they feel like. Did you read this interview with him?
I didn't know.
Todd,
I did.
Or anybody? They're leading up to something big in this time period, which basically is the New Republic and sort of the Remnant Empire. And obviously, we know the Remnant Empire grows, so he feels like this is all leading up to something big. And it said that big thing could, and I'm paraphrasing, could happen, and Mando could still be doing Mando. You know, it doesn't exclude Mando from continuing.
It doesn't necessarily mean it's a finale of all of those shows.
Exactly.
Right.
It's all sort of leading to that, but it doesn't mean those things are going to end.
Right. The shows are going to build towards an event, and the event is going to take place in the theater instead of on Disney Plus.
And this will happen when?
They didn't announce timing.
Which is why I would bet this is the de facto finale for at least one of these series. So,
well, I'm not even sure. We don't even know yet that there'll be any more Book of Boba Fett. So Book of Boba Fett might not come back in any form other than those
and
characters
they're also
might
not
show
committing
up
to
in the
more
movie.
than a season of Ahsoka. So
right,
yeah. So this could be. My guess is we'll get at least another season of Mando before we see.
Oh,
this
they've
movie.
got to. Yeah, they've got.
Yeah, I think so.
I feel like they're gonna they're gonna do them in sort of the time frame. The James Mangold one, well, Daisy Ridley one, which we'll talk about next, is like.
It's a new.
I guess
time frame.
she should be theoretically should be older, so that could take place. See,
Well, they're saying it's 15 years after the Rise of Skywalker.
Well, let's talk about that one because that one seems to be the only one that feels like it could have a character limitation on it that. Well, they're not going to wait 10 years, so anyway, it doesn't matter.
Right. So, and I'm going to butcher her name, but Charmin. I don't even know how to pronounce
Obaid
Chinois?
Shinny.
Okay.
She directed a couple of Ms. Marvels.
Yeah, she
Pakistani woman.
A few episodes of Ms. Marvel. She's doing a movie.
And a bunch of other stuff.
Takes place 15 years after Rise of Skywalker, featuring Daisy Ridley as Rey, as she builds a new Jedi Order.
Yeah. And I don't know that I read a couple things that didn't reference that time frame. But... So, I don't know if that's locked in stone.
Yeah, they said that during the presentation, but I mean,
okay.
I who knows? They could say a lot.
And everyone's bitching, like, why do we have to have that? Boo.
Well, this is the movie that we talked about last week that, what's his name?
Lindelof.
What Damon Lindelof was writing and has walked away from.
Yeah. But I think you're doing 3 distinct time periods, and it makes sense. Why not? Fill them all out.
I have no problem with them bringing Rey back. I mean, we all know we won't go down the rabbit hole of how we all feel about those movies, and some of them were better than others. But
Some people hate all those movies. Some of us hate only one of those movies.
I had no problem with her character necessarily, I like her. I like the actress. So if it's good, it's good. All that matters is that it's good. Like, just redeem some of the stuff that we saw, and that would be great too. But just make it good.
Yeah, I'm excited about these. I like the direction. 3 completely different directions.
We don't know when any of them are coming out yet.
Yep.
But we don't know when any of them are going to come out yet. I mean, so at the end of the day today, they announced the next Star Wars Celebration is in 2025 in Japan.
Really?
I would think that they might want to have a movie coming out that year, but who knows? That's not a lot of time.
Well, and James Mangold is supposed to do something else. And now it's done with Indy. I don't remember what it was. He's got something else on the docket.
So he may not be getting to this.
I don't remember.
Soon.
It sounded like something. I got to look that up. It was something like, oh, that's a pretty. I thought it was a big-ish movie that I'm like, that sounds like that's his next project. We're stalling and we're stalling and we're stalling. Upcoming. There's none of those. None of those.
Maybe
it wasn't any of those.
Maybe he's cleared his slate then. Who knows?
Nah, it was in an article today. Anyway.
So
We'll see.
Those are the movies they announced.
Can we now talk about the movies they're not doing?
Can I just read a comment?
Okay.
Sure.
I'm gonna read this. This is from the record. I will read the voice of our pal who runs Lucasfilm,
KK?
who shall be nameless. So Kathy Kennedy says, she went on to offer an update on the future of a Rian Johnson directed project, saying, and these are in quotes, Ryan and I talk all the time. He is unbelievably busy. So we're not actively involved. I'm trying to read this straight face. He's not actively involved in anything at the moment because he's doing another one of the Glass Onion movies and then God knows what else. But he really wants to step back into the space. It's a big commitment of time, so that's really on him. So sometimes when people break up, they say, it's not you, it's me.
No,
but
that's
Ryan,
the obligatory.
it's
That
you.
is the obligatory save face for Rian Johnson comment. She will never mention his name again.
Yeah.
Or she'll keep saying that because she's been saying that for a year.
Well,
so
he's
maybe
been saying that. He's been saying that. She hasn't really been saying that.
And the Taika Waititi thing she mentioned too, that sounds equally like.
Yeah. And again,
Taika is like, he does his own thing. He doesn't want anyone else involved. We'll see where he goes with that.
Oh, and by the way, Kevin Feige, that we were never serious. So, yeah.
I'm okay
fine
with
with these
all
three
of that.
movies.
I'm
I
okay
am
with
too.
all of that.
I totally am too.
Sometimes you have to, you got to work through the process to get to the right place. And I feel like all of those false start movies, hopefully you're getting them to a better place.
Yeah. I like that sound of all three. So
All right,
there we
so
go.
now let's talk about all the TV stuff because there's a lot of it.
Yep.
So Ahsoka, let's talk about that first since we got a trailer for that.
Trailer was okay.
Yeah, I thought the trailer was good.
I thought it was amazing. The trailer was amazing. I wanted to see look at
okay.
Tom's face.
I was like, wait a minute. How am I going to spend
Like,
this?
all the Jedis are supposedly dead, and he's going to get some. He's going to
He
get a
went to get the
spaceship.
ghost.
Is that a Ahsoka's spaceship?
That's the ghost. It's the crew from Rebels.
Oh, okay.
So you don't have, as much as you liked it, you don't have the connection to some of those
Nope.
characters that Todd and I have from having watched all of
And
Rebels.
I'm debating: do I need to have that connection, or should I just watch it in the live action?
I think that, and I'll find the episode for you. I think Dave Filoni actually said at some point over the course of the weekend, there's 1 or 2 episodes of Rebels that are mandatory watching before, and mandatory in air quotes, right? Before you watch Ahsoka. So you may only have to watch like 2 episodes to really.
All right, let me know, because
Do what you
I
need.
watched
And
the
there's
first
one,
season
and
of
there's
Rebels.
one episode that everyone who's a Star Wars fan should watch. So,
Let me know which those are.
Yeah.
And I'll watch it.
Yeah,
But it did look. It so looked like. As much as Mando is Star Wars, this looked like real Star Wars. It's like Outer Rim versus right in the heat of stuff.
yeah.
I mean, is Thrawn in any spoilers? You can't spoil the trailer. Is Thrawn or whatever his name is?
Yes.
In anything
Yes,
other
he's in
than
Rebels.
books?
He's in Rebels.
He is in Rebels. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I read those books.
Season 2 of Rebels, he features prominently. And they got the same actor that did the voice now to play him in live action, which is really good.
yeah, which is
That's
great.
good.
He'll be perfect too.
Yeah.
He does that kind of
that
role.
trailer looks amazing. So that's very exciting.
Yep. Super excited about it. And the Rebels characters that they're bringing to live action, they look really good. I mean, the way that they're translating them looks really good.
I didn't even realize that was that Mary Elizabeth. What's her
She
name?
looks perfect.
Winstead.
They actually the shape is perfect. Like the shape for shoulders, no.
That's what Ryan. That's what Ewan says. The shape is perfect.
I'm telling you, it's perfect. And oh god, I can't wait to see those characters in live action.
And just seeing, again, Dave, you don't really necessarily know Chopper from the cartoons, but
He's that. He's that.
the live action
orange
Chopper
and-
looks great. It looks perfect. And they actually rolled him out on stage at one point.
Yeah, I saw that.
So, All right, so that's Ahsoka. The next show up in live action is going to be Skeleton Crew. They didn't show us a trailer of that at home. They apparently did show footage of it at the convention. There was, I don't know if it's still there, there was a cell phone version of it up on YouTube at one point. But that also comes out this year.
It does. And that's Jude Law is supposed to be a Jedi in that.
It's Jude Law, and they kept using the words Amblin. Like, it's supposedly got an Amblin, like Steven Spielberg-esque feel, where it's like a bunch of kids and then they're in jeopardy and whatever. So it's like,
and I don't want to say the time frame of that.
It's in the same time frame as Mando universe.
Interesting.
I don't want to say it's like Goonies in space, but I mean, when they keep saying Amblin, that's just what my head goes to.
Right. Do you know who his character is?
No.
Have they said?
I don't think they have.
Darth Malgus.
Is there any chance he's somebody we
I don't
know?
know who that is.
I don't think it's Kanan or anything like that.
That's when I first saw him. I was looking. I was like, could that be? Yeah.
I think Kanan's got to show up in the Ahsoka show at some point. I think they're holding him back. But if they get Freddie Prinze to play him, that could be awesome.
Freddie Prinze would take the job.
Well, he was the voice of him in the cartoon. So.
No, I'm saying I don't know what else he's doing.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so those are the first two that we're getting this year. Next year is a show called The Acolyte, and we don't know when exactly, but
that's I think
that's like High Republic. Yeah, that's like, you know, previously when the Jedi were sort of at their peak. Mm-hmm. That's got the Jonas playing a Jedi, a Wookiee Jedi in it.
Is that what that's all about?
Yeah,
okay, I wasn't sure.
Yeah,
I saw him.
They're very high on it. I mean, I watched a whole panel. I watched interviews with the showrunner. I watched interviews with the cast. We shall see. I mean, you know, it's an untouched time period, which I like. It's something that isn't going to be beholden to all the canon. I mean, yes, there's some guardrails you have to make sure you don't, you know, trip over. But other than that, it's a green field. They could do almost anything. So
yeah, I agree.
All right, so after that, they've said Andor Season 2 is going to be August 2024. They're already filming it.
Okay.
They confirmed everything that we'd already heard, that every 3 episodes is going to be a year, and they're going to jump.
Oh, okay.
And they've made no bones about that. They've already said the final scene is going to be him, like, leading up to the first shot of Rogue One.
So it's 2 seasons and that's it.
2 seasons and that's it.
I wonder why they're doing that.
Originally, they said 5 seasons when they first announced it. So I don't know. Maybe it just proved to be too expensive, or maybe
they got a lot on their plate.
They've got a lot on their plate,
plus the movies.
So that's everything that they announced in live action TV. Then there's a bunch.
Can I just mention a Mando thing since we're talking live action TV? So I don't know how many episodes do we have left this season.
2.
Do we know?
2.
There's only 2. Jesus.
2 left.
So did
by the time this episode drops, there'll be 1 left.
Yeah, Favreau was on Smartless podcast, and someone asked a question. You know, basically, like, you brought Luke Skywalker in, you brought Ahsoka in, you brought Luke Skywalker in. There's a ton of people alive in that time period. Obviously, everybody from the original trilogy is mostly alive, except for Vader and maybe Kenobi. You know, will we see other people? And he's like, as you know, I can't answer that. But I will say this, you know, we're exploring blah, blah, blah. Do you think we'll see anybody else this season? I mean, there's a lot of people alive.
I would say no, but I also wouldn't have thought that they would have brought Luke in if you had asked me that 2 years ago.
Yeah,
so.
and he did say that Luke was... It was always Luke. I know we conjectured a million things, but the fact... I mean, could we see Leia? Could we see Han?
I don't think so. I don't think we'll see Leia because she's just not here to do the voice. Could you see Han? Look, they've proved with the Indy trailer and everything that I've read about the making of this Indy movie.
They could do essentially a flyby with Han and Chewie and give him a tow or something or whatever.
We're really not leading up to anything the way we were sort of hinting at. You got to take him to a Jedi. You know, that was 3-4 episodes before it happened. So, yeah, I'm just curious what you guys thought.
I don't know. I don't know.
We have R5. That's who we got this season.
We did get R5. Let's save this for next week. I did not love last week's episode of Mando. I liked it. I had a lot of issues with it that I've just tried to.
I agree with you.
Put aside.
But let's talk about it next week.
Yeah, let's talk about that next week. All right, so animation. So Tales of the Jedi, they announced that those were the shorts. That's definitely coming back for season 2.
Yep.
Which is awesome because I love those shorts.
I did too.
They were great. You haven't watched those yet, Dave, right? You should check
No,
those
I keep
out.
forgetting. I gotta watch it.
We found out, they announced today officially that we will get a Bad Batch Season 3. It will be the final season, and that's in 2024, so we've got a year to wait for that. Star Wars Visions, which was the Japanese anime, or the anime, I shouldn't say Japanese because it wasn't all Japanese, but the anime shorts, we're getting a second volume of that this May 4th. I'll be honest, I did not make it through all of this first season of those. Yeah, mark this on your calendar. That's probably the only Star Wars thing that's ever come out that I did not force myself to watch.
You will at some point.
Probably. Now, the other thing that's coming out again this May, and I will not watch, they've got a Young Jedi Adventure animated thing that's like shorts also. Very, very kid-friendly. The animation is very, very young. It comes out May 4th. I think the first 3 episodes are on YouTube now. This is just not... It has nothing to do with Star Wars. I'm not watching it. So I think that's everything. It's a lot.
It is a
it's
lot.
fine. It was a lot. We did get Jar Jar Binks guy. I forgot. So we got a lot this season.
Yeah, we did get that. I mean, and just so real quick, I saw the Andor panel. My favorite panel that I watched was they did like a creature cantina with Neil Scanlon, where they talked about how they actually make the creatures move and all the servos they put in the heads and how they control them. And
cool.
they actually brought 2 people up on stage and actually dressed them, and I did a whole thing with them. That was actually a lot of fun. Obi-Wan panel was actually really good. They had the whole cast there. They had a villain.
Apparently, he took pictures, and instead of being plexiglass, he had an R2 between them,
which was kind of cool.
There was typical freaking internet. There was a ton of people bitching about Celebration.
What? Because they didn't get to stand next to him. They had
No,
to stand
not because of
between
it.
an
But
R2.
the lines are like, you just got to go with it. We've been to what, 4 of these things? You got to just go with it, you know? And you got to be smart. No one's going to be like, oh, may I escort you to meet George Lucas? It's not going to happen. You got to be smart about it. You got to work the room.
I have a feeling that a lot of people that, when they go to their first Star Wars Celebration, probably have never been to a big convention before. They don't know what they don't know. But
there's a lot of bitching.
You're never going to get to
people.
do... I mean, even the big panels. Like, look at what happened the last time we went in Chicago. Like... It was a lottery, and none of us got into the same panels. It's just the way it works.
But then you stand in the room, and you watch it on the screen, and you
go with it.
You
Some of us got the hat, others didn't get the hat. It's
That's
just
true.
how it goes.
Yes.
Some of us got the Mando poster. We got to see Mando
some of us
before
got
it came out.
posters. Yeah.
But there are, and then these same idiots are like, it's in Japan. Who's going? Comment below if you're going. Like, chill the F out, you people. Like,
I would love to go to Japan and go to a Star Wars convention. I don't think I will, but I would love to do that.
It's an $8,000 flight.
Well, I know. That's probably why I'm not going to go. But so
And
real
it's
quick,
18 hours, no less.
Just a couple of really quick things to know. I mean, I'm not going to list off all the panels I watched, but the Dave Filoni, Jon Favreau interviews worth finding on YouTube. They're great. Dave and John were both like legitimately choked up at the reception that they got, which was nice to see. They did an Empire Strikes Back 40th anniversary panel. Billy D. Williams was there. Every question they asked him, he didn't answer. I don't know why he was even on that stage, because he didn't answer a single question.
He just said other stuff, or...
He kind of was like, oh, I have a book coming out. Like, that's not the question that they just asked you. It was a little weird.
Apollo Greed.
There was a Disney Parks panel, and they did announce that in 2024 they're adding more scenes to Star Tours. So that I thought was cool.
That's interesting.
And then some of the other merch that they announced, they've got a Chatterback chopper toy, Todd, that's like kind of like yay big, like coffee can size chopper that does all kinds of noises and moves around. It looked really cool.
Wait, the size of one of those Keurig things?
No. Like more
Explain
like
to the audience what a coffee can is.
Yeah, I know. So like 6 inches tall. Let's go that way. So one of the things I watched on the live stream was, they always have the tattoo pavilion at these things. And this douchebag guy that was doing it was like, I'm getting a tattoo, and they interviewed the guy that's tattooing. He was, I want to get a Yaddle tattoo. This motherfucker got Yaddle tattooed on his arm. I'm like, that's permanent. You don't want that. Trust me, you don't want that.
Hey, Yaddle's cool, okay?
I guess, but
watch
Jesus
watch
Christ.
the shorts. You'll see.
I know. So, and the only other
Yaddle
thing
went out
I'll
strong.
mention, in talking to Anthony Daniels, apparently he's had this lifelong collection of C-3PO stuff, and he's apparently auctioning it off. And I think they're going to announce it later this year. I think he's doing it through Prop Store. So,
Is that the head that was there? Was that his?
I think that was his, yeah.
Did George Lucas swoop in and be like, that's not yours?
Well, I think when you're the guy that played C-3PO all those years, you do get given stuff, and
that
you
stuff
know,
will go for a lot of money.
yeah,
Jesus.
Yeah. So I thought that was interesting. I mean, again, who knows what he's got and how much it'll go for and all that jazz, but could be cool.
I'd love to know what Kenny Baker would have to say about that.
Yeah, exactly. Well, so there you go. That's
a lot of stuff. It's
lot
good
of
time. I
stuff.
wish we could have gone. It's in London. I certainly am not going to freaking Japan either, I don't think. And then there's all these dopes online. Well, 2027, it's got to be Orlando. Like,
why? It could be California again. It could be Chicago.
I mean, I'm
anywhere.
just saying, like, that's freaking 4 years from now, buddy.
And there's also nothing saying that they won't. I mean, have they ever done 2 in 1 year? I mean, they could do one in the States. They just haven't announced it yet.
It's Japan's an odd choice. It's interesting because it's not easy.
They've been to Japan once before. I feel like it was at least 10 years ago. But
yeah.
Oh, one other thing, real quick. They announced the 3 3/4 inch Mando's new Starfighter, which looked really cool. It was the vintage collection style with the little dome with a little Grogu in it, and the whole thing with the action that comes with a fully articulated figure. It looked really nice.
That's cool.
So.
Okay, that's plenty of stuff.
Yes. If anybody was there and they have any cool stuff to tell us, let us know.
Let us know. So yeah, next week we'll get back into the Mando and Picard and all that stuff because those are both wrapping up soon, right?
Yeah.
Any last thoughts?
I saw this just before we started recording. Adam Savage posted it. Al Jaffe, who was the artist that did all the Mad Magazine fold-ins, passed away today at 102.
Yeah, it's a long.
That's a long life.
Also, Norman Reynolds, who Academy Award-winning art director for for Indiana Jones, Raiders of the Lost Ark, and for Star Wars, passed away. Pretty big influence on the movies. So rest in peace, all you guys. There you go. So we covered a lot in an hour and 12
Yeah, we covered
minutes.
a lot of ground.
Yep.
So go see John Wick. Go look up all this exciting Star Wars stuff. There's plenty to see, plenty to be excited about. It's a good time. We live in a year where you got new Star Trek, Star Wars, and Indiana Jones all in the same quarter.
And Picard,
And a promising
which is
Marvel film.
yeah, and Picard, which has been good,
Oh,
and we're
no,
getting
no.
Strange New Worlds this year too. So we're getting hopefully 2 really good Star Trek shows.
Yeah.
And if Ahsoka
potentially
lives up
3.
to the hype, yeah, well, yeah, and if Ahsoka lives up to the hype, we're gonna get another great Star Wars show too.
So there's lots of good stuff. It's a good time to be a fan. And with that, thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.